And 3, 2.
Hi guys, my name is Paul from AECS and I'm going to have a quick talk to you about diagnostic equipment in today's commercial vehicle and automotive workshops. Now, going back many years, even before my time in the trade, we had this kind of equipment. It's fairly rudimentary. There's some battery clips and an analog voltmeter here and a timing light and maybe a few electrical connections, but of course vehicles of that age were not complex at all. They didn't require a lot of diagnostic interfacing as such. When I got into the workshop and through my training at college, we learned with multimeters and dare I say even the classic Wilkinson amps and voltmeter was still very much in use, and indeed when I started in my first workshop, my Jedi master, if you like, still used one of them and swore by it and said you could do everything with it. I now know that's complete nonsense. So I still go into a lot of workshops today to see a lot of customers, and I find equipment like this in use, unbelievably, which is I think they were referred to as power probes. There's a clip, there's a great big spike on it which can do all manner of damage to terminals these days, and literally a filament bulb inside. Now that can be either not enough load to test the circuit properly, or indeed too much load and blow up an ECU. This kind of equipment, and dare I say even the multimeter, which I know everybody owns, is the equipment of yesteryear. If you're still using this kind of gear, and yes, even a multimeter, you're living in the dark ages. You are literally living in the yesteryear era. That is not any help for you in the workshop of today. So where are we now with diagnostic equipment? Well, over here we've got what is the latest and indeed greatest as far as diagnostic interfacing goes. You've got the product range from launch. There are wireless technology in here, there is Bluetooth technology in here, coverage for the entire range of vehicles on the road here, be it cars or even trucks with launch. Diagnostic ability is now not just a case of scanning for code. You need to be able to do live data, and indeed overlaying live data from good cars on bad cars, as you can with the latest Pad V from launch. Gel test, commercial vehicle specialist tool, the best commercial vehicle tool in the world, has the largest database of any tool as far as wiring diagrams, mechanical database, service information, technical service bulletins, that kind of thing. That is where equipment is today. That is what you need to be using to start your diagnostics correctly in today's workshops. The multimeters that we used to use several years ago, as I say, they are all but useless to you, other than maybe reading the battery voltage and maybe a temperature sensor or two. What are we using today? We're using oscilloscopes, computer-based oscilloscopes. That's measuring up to 1,000 million times per second. Now I know that's a large figure to try and comprehend, but CAN bus diagnostics requires measurement speed of at least 5 million, if not 10 million times per second to be even able to see the communication happening on those wires. Many vehicles and manufacturers now using multiple CAN bus systems. So we've got here 2-channel scope, 4-channel scope from AECS. They can be piggybacked to make 6, 8 channels and as many channels as you wish to add, which is a unique function of AECS scopes. This laptop here is set up at the moment. It has some options available for AECS scopes. So there's measuring diesel flow through one of the add-on kits, so you can actually do live measurement of diesel flow, as in per millimeters per minute. Okay, so that is the multimeter of today. That is what you need to be using. Anybody still trying to sell you this kind of equipment doesn't really have your best interests at heart. And indeed, there are a lot of people selling a lot of equipment. Now, diagnostics has become a specialist field. It's not something that you want to be going into lightheartedly with equipment like this. You need knowledge, you need training, and that's no disrespect to anybody. When I went to college, my training was 30 minutes a week in a full week of automotive technology. And that, even at that time, in the late 80s, was probably already outdated. Nowadays, electronics and the computers surrounding that require a lot more training and a lot more knowledge to be learnt to be able to use them effectively, proactively, as we like to see the equipment being used, so you can quite simply turn a profit with it. And learning how to do that is not just a 5-minute process. You need to be able to be trained in that. You may need technical support in that, and at AECS that is what we specialise in. When you get involved with AECS through our equipment, that is the start of a relationship which we then like to grow on, that involves training, that involves technical support, that involves getting the newsletter once a month, the technical articles that come with it. That is all part of the AECS experience that we like to put out to you. Now there are, we know, a lot of, let's call them pretenders, also selling equipment of all different shapes and sizes. And some people sell multiple brands of equipment. And yes, we've got a couple of brands here, but they're the two brands that we feel from a diagnostic point of view on scan tools and for ATS on the scopes are the premium brands, the top level equipment. We've got the best coverage for cars, we've got the best coverage for trucks, and then we've got the best measurement equipment here. When you go to buy specialist equipment to do a specialist job, you need to go to a diagnostic specialist such as AECS to help you get the right equipment that is appropriate for you. There's no good me selling you a truck scan tool if you never see a truck. There's no point having a car tool if you never see a car, and so forth. That's obvious. But we need to be able to advise you what scope may be the right one for you. What do you want to actually measure? To what level do you want to go? And as I would say, if you want to go and buy a specialist cut of meat, say some wild caught venison backstrap, you wouldn't go to your Just supermarket to buy that, because they won't be able to advise you properly. They might not even have the cut, I doubt. You're going to go to a specialist butcher to supply that, and then you'll get the personal attention that you need. You'll get the right product for you, exactly what you've asked for, and the right cut, etc. And it's the same for diagnostic equipment. There are a lot of parts sellers selling diagnostic equipment. Now, they do a great job at selling parts, but really, is that the place you need to go for your complex diagnostic equipment? Are you going to get training? Are you going to get technical support? And the answer is generally no. They're just there simply to sell you a product as quickly as they can and then replace it as often as they can to keep that going. That's not how it works. You need to invest in equipment wisely. It's a long-term goal that you're trying to achieve. You're trying to enhance your own training ability and your workshop's ability and your technician's ability. Come and talk to the specialists. We will tell you what's right for you. We will talk to you about this kind of equipment. We're never, I'm sorry, going to show you this kind of equipment that needs assigning to the back of the workshop bench, and in some cases, like the power probes, to the dustbin. We'll tell you what's right for you, and we'll get you on the right track to diagnostics properly. Thanks for listening. If you'd like to know more about any of our diagnostic equipment, then give us a call or contact us online or through Facebook. We'll only be too happy to talk to you. Thanks for listening.